What's going on, everyone? Dan the Glassman here, and we are back. So as you can see, we got that one finally replicated pretty nicely. Got this one replicated nicely. Let me show you this one here too. Look at that, guys. So yeah, I could have made the lines of the white a little bit thinner and added more lines, but we're just doing a replication. If you want, we could actually go back in and try to make that, specific to a T. But what I would like to do today is actually try to replicate some of the original. I'm hoping 8 of the 13 original balloons. So that's what we're going to try to do today. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pull it off or not. I'm trying to go off of memory. Now, one thing that I know is I created the original Sid Cutter balloon, which is a red, white, and blue stars and stripes balloon, and it has a yellow fringe going around the edge of it here. I do believe that is the Sid Cutter balloon. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to look in this magazine right here. We'll find out. So we got these programs here, the official program guides from every year, and I'm gonna see if Sid Cutter is actually in here. I don't think so because he's been passed for some time, but maybe his balloon is still flowing, So I'm gonna just look and see. But oh, Will Cutter, okay. All right, there you go. Okay, so Cutter has this balloon right here. You'll see a bunch of other ones, but this one right here is the one that I'm talking about. So we're going to try to get a zoom of that one. So you can see, not these, but that one right there is the Will Cutter balloon. So that's got to be the son of Sid Cutter. Will Cutter right there. So the original balloon looks like, and I've actually made that one, but with the fringe going around it. So I did not realize that was actually the original balloon that I've already created several years ago. So you can find it on facebook.com/glass balloons, and somewhere in those photos you will see a replica of the Sid Cutter balloon already. So I know that I can make that. Now the other ones, I don't know who they belong to. Okay, and then there's this Jerry Hooper. Now, it could be that Jerry Hooper now owns the Sid Cutter balloon. I'm not 100% sure on that. But right there, try not to burn the magazine here. But let's see, right there is the, what is it? Sorry. Jerry Hooper with the SS America right there. And so that one's got that yellow. I actually made Jerry Cooper's balloon and not Sid Cutter's balloon. But we have his son, Will Cutter, and that's really cool. So we can make sure that we and then we'll try to make some other ones here too. Ellen right there, that's our balloon. That's a Polar Dawn with Rick Jones. You can see Rick Jones Polar Dawn balloon. So that's the balloon that we'll be flying for and crewing for this year, every year. But let's get started on some of these balloons here. Maybe we'll start with that one, the red, white, and blue. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly how we're going to do this. There's a few balloons that I've seen that look pretty easy. And there was one that actually had like orange and blue stripes going around it, and then there was one that had red and blue stripes going around on the sides or panels. So we're going to try to mimic those as best as we can. Okay, so I'm just doing a little bit of some promotion here to get people to come to the live feed here. So we got, I'm about to attempt to make 8 of the 13 original hot air balloons from 1972. I'm not sure what the other 5 look like just yet. More research to do. Join me now on YouTube Live and that's right here at the Glassman's World. Be sure to subscribe for live notifications. Also follow us at Glass Balloons on Facebook, and there's a link right there. So we do have a page on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Glass Balloons. Be sure to go there and check out what's going on there. We have all the photos of everything I've ever done since the beginning since I've been making these. So you'll be able to see some of the original glass balloons that I've been making since like 2000. For the last like 20 years or so. All right, and then I don't know if you're just tuning in. There's that one there, and then the one right below it. We lost signal there for a minute. What happened there? But yeah, there's that one. It's hard to spin it. I don't want to drop it on accident. Full color all the way around. All right. Let's make sure we have the live chat on so we can see all the messages here. All right, so I'm going to post this up on Facebook here, and hopefully we'll get some individuals to come in from Facebook and join us and watch. And if not, that's all right. We're just going to keep on working here and get things going. I think the first one that I want to attempt to make is that orange and blue one. I'm going to try to look up something real quick and see if I can find there's a photo on I don't even know what page it is. But it's all the original balloons from 1972. I just don't know what the top looks like. Or well, actually, the top they're just around, but the bottom, I don't know what the skirt is. I'm thinking it's a blue skirt. The skirt is basically underneath the balloon, right where the torch is, the burner in the balloon, right above the gondola or above the basket. There's a piece of fabric that dangles off of the bottom of the balloon. It's called the skirt or the skirting, or the scoop, also known as the scoop. Sometimes it's just one-sided, and that can push you in a direction, give you a little bit more directional angle there, or directional control, is what I mean. Alright, so we're just rounding it up, just getting it all nice and round. It's a 16 millimeter rod that we're starting with. And then, like I said, that first one I was thinking would just be the blue with the red. And we're just going to stripe this, just like this. We're going to go with the thick color. And just like that, we're just going to lay down the line around the whole thing here. And I'm going to just add lines in between those lines. And then in between those, we're going to add the red. Alright. So now you see you got all those colors of blue wrapped around there, right? Now we're going to go in with the red. And we're going to lay the red right in between all that blue right there. So I'm just laying down the colors right in between. That red in between the blue. We got one more. This was a little thing here, so what I'm thinking about doing is stretching out the color a little bit. I can draw a really nice line right in between there. It looks like a real thin line in between the blues there, so I don't want to cover up the blues too much. Trying to get that color in there. So now all the color pretty sure we got it all. Yeah, so there's no empty spaces now. So now I'm going to go all the way up to the top, and we'll do our best to pull all these colors up to the point. All to the same point here. And that will help to create the top of the colors, the way they all come together on the balloon. Really, really help with the shaping of the balloon and everything to really make it look real and authentic. So now we're just going to melt these down and pull them all as one, straight up. We don't want to spin this pattern. Sometimes we do want to spin it, but not these ones. I'm just cleaning up the top of that just to pull as much of it as possible. Alright, there we go. Now you can see all those colors are all pulled up, all pulled together. So now we got that blue and that red all pulled together. I'm going to melt those down. So now, you know, we could keep it just solid color like this. We can go in with a knife and reshape all of the lines in between the colors. Or what I'm thinking I might do, like usual, is just adding the clear glass on top of it, which will give it that beautiful coating on the outside and make the color just pop. But yeah, I think I'll do that. It's just going to be having to line up all the lines now on top of it. That's all. That's all I was going to say. But it's going to have a little bit more of a level of difficulty added to it as well. Which is fine, because these are the 8 of the 13 original balloons here. And we'll see if we can get these done in the next hour or two. I don't know how quickly I can get each of these done. Some might be quicker than others. kind of almost want to just shape those colors out with a knife. I don't know. I'm not sure which way would be better. I'm all going back and forth now. Which one? Knife, no knife, knife, no knife. I do like adding the clear glass to it. It does make it a little bit bigger as well. So that's what I'm thinking. And that way I guess we can keep the consistency of all the rest of them all the same as well. Being that that's what I've been doing is just adding that clear glass onto them. Alright. Okay, now to make the clear glass on the outside, we use a rod of clear glass. And I don't have any 7mm rod on hand, so we're going to hand pull our own 7mm rod from the 16mm here. So we're going to grab a hold of the tip of this to just keep it warm. We're going to keep it near the flame. And we're going to utilize it now as like a tool. Alright, so I'm going to preheat the sticker part here for a little bit. And then we're going to stick it right to the tip here. Use it like a handle. It's going to kind of just attach itself like it's taped on. And we'll be able to peel it off real gently. So we just attach it like that. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then I'm going to start pulling it, heating it on the thick portion there, and I'm going to watch how I pull it. Now this is all from time and experience of knowing where to keep the heat and how to pull different millimeters. I used to make a lot of body jewelry, a lot of gauges, and you'd have to pull them to be a specific millimeter. So, you know, pulling a 7mm from a 16mm, that's something that I can do. And yeah, I would recommend really trying to do this yourself. And you know, if you're blowing glass, really give yourself some of this practice and see how well you can pull a 7mm, 5mm, 2mm, 3mm stringer point like this, and just for how long as well. How long can you just keep it going? So, but that's probably long enough there. We're gonna just keep it spinning for a minute. Keep pulling, keep pulling. Eventually, it's gonna break off here. There we go. Oh, perfect. Landed right on the torch right there. So I can just use that to spin it on. Bam, there we go. Alright. So now, we've got this rod here. We can go in, reheat this real quick. And we're going to use this, that rod, the clear rod there. Oh yeah, I'm going to try to find this. How do I find this again? History, hot air balloon. History hot air balloon. Let's see what comes up. Alright, so I'm going to start lining these up here. Actually, it's Balloon Fiesta. Because that's a whole different thing. The history of the hot air balloon, the history of hot air balloon Fiesta, two completely separate things. Alright, I'm going to try to find some images here. Alright, we're going to start drawing some of these clear lines on top of the smaller ones. I think we did the blue first, so the orange I think is, I don't know which one's which actually. They're both glowing really, really hot. I'm just going to make sure that my lines are going directly onto the proper color. We'll go across to the opposite side here. Like I said, there's that little bit of an added challenge on making sure that these lines are going right on top of the color. So that's all. That's the only challenge here. But I have pretty good hand control with the glass. Looks like we're getting the lines down pretty good so far. Alright. Now I think I'm just going to leave it like that, where I put the lines on the smaller color to kind of make those bigger, and then the other lines are just going to kind of be in between. It's going to give it that balloon look, and that's going to be like one of the original balloons there. I'm wondering if I should just put the ribs in between it too. And then again, I'm wondering, I think I might have put too many lines for this one. So we're going to actually keep this one as is. We're going to try to find some images here to see if we can find the original 13 balloons all lined up from long ago. There's only like one or two images that I know of. Okay, there's one. Possibly that's one of them there. Okay, and yeah. And I don't see the one I'm trying to make. Of course, right? Alright, let me put the 1972. Alright, 1972. search that. Oh, the 9 didn't appear for some reason. Okay, let's try that again. Alright, well there are a couple. Images, but still not the one I'm trying to find. That's interesting. There's the 1972 pen, Event Pro. It's still not. I mean, there's a couple images though. That's a good image of some of the original ones, but still it doesn't have this one here. There's only like one image of this one. One that I've seen. Is that? No, that's not it either. That's the other balloon I'm going to attempt here soon. Alright. I don't see the one I'm trying to find. And there's a few right there though. There's one more right there, so actually now I know 9 of the patterns, and this one I don't think I can do. Maybe, we'll see. There's one that's like white, red, white, and blue, but it's like all splotchy pattern, all crazy. It's really nice balloon, but not something I don't think I can do in a glass. Just shaping the balloon. Now we're going to get that same rod that we pulled. Going to use this for the loop to turn it into a pendant for a necklace. Alright, so now we get the reamer here. I'm going to use the reamer to help with moving this loop into place. Alright, so now I'm just going to get this this loop all shaped up and done. I just want to make sure it's adhered to the body really well. So that way it's nice and strong. The loop is the weakest part of the pendant, so if the loop breaks, then you got no more pendant, you know? So you want to make sure that this is a really nice, strong connection and everything, and you know, let's make sure that's attached really well. Alright, sorry. Sometimes I'm too much of a perfectionist, but there you can see what I've been working on. So you got that red, the blue. The red looks real muddy right now, but when it cools down, you're gonna definitely see that red come out and pop out. So it's really warm right now, so that's why it looks like it's brown and muddy and not that blue color. But it will become a bright cherry red, like the one on the table right here. This one. Now we get a piece of glass here, which is just a little scrap piece that we have all cleaned up and ready to attach. This is now a punty. So we use that to hold on to the glass. So now you can see it's attached to it just real simply, like tape kind of just tack welded to it. It's not really it's not welded together or fused together, but just kind of stuck together for a moment. So now I'm going to take this off of the 16 millimeter rod, and we'll start to form the bottom of the balloon, and we'll add the gondola, and we'll finish this one up. This will be the first of the 13. We'll try to get all 13 of them, but I only know of what 9 look like. And so this will be, we'll try to get through maybe 8 of them today if we can, but I don't know. We'll see what happens here. We'll see how much time we have and everything. So now, I pulled it off of the rod there, so you can see it's just hanging on by the punchy. So we're going to get rid of all the excess glass on the bottom. We're going to pull it all down, taper it all down into itself. So all this glass will just be scrapped, just put aside into a jar here, which I actually do save all the jars and pieces of scrap. Eventually, one day, I'd like to try to melt it down into like a, I don't know, like an ashtray, some kind of dish, a bowl, plate, something. I just wanted to see what we can do with slumping borosilicate glass into the kiln and how that works and what it would look like and everything. Just for my own fun and research and experience. So we're going to slowly pull this all down, little by little. Make sure we grab all the color too. So sometimes the color doesn't pull down with the rest of it, so you can just grab it with your tweezers. Just make sure that color gets pulled down. So now you know all of it's going to get pulled. And then if you just grab it all like that all at once, it will taper it down. And then, since we don't know, we're just going to guess what the bottom of this one looks like. I could go into the living room and look on that computer real quick, but I do believe that it's blue. And if it's red, then and we'll make another one, right? What if it has no skirting? What if we just leave it like that? And then we could just put a piece of clear glass right there and then add the gondola. Call it a day, don't add any skirting. But I do believe it's blue, so we're going to go with the blue. All we're going to do is just add a little bit of dot color right on the bottom there, just like that. And we're going to melt this color in and make it become part of the whole balloon shaping here. So I'm just going to hit it up like that. That way it's all melted, all that same kind of angle there. Now you can really see that balloon shaping coming. We're going to add a little dot of clear glass on the bottom so we can get that kind of empty space in between the balloon and the gondola. So it really makes it look like that basket's hanging away from the actual balloon. That's the fun that I like to do there, just adding that little touch of realism to it. And then we'll get our butterscotch here and add a little dot of color, which will become the basket. Just round that up. And there you go. So we didn't make the balloon that you see right there next to it. We're working on a few others. I don't have the images to show and share you. But we're basically just mimicking and replicating the original 8 of 13 balloons, maybe 9, because now I see the other one here. But I don't know if I can even do that one. Some of these are a huge challenge. Some of these I definitely can't do. I will admit that. Drop that in the kiln. And let me show you just kind of like what we're doing here. So we're basically just taking some colors of glass, and then we're mimicking the balloon that you see. So that's what we're doing here. We're just mimicking the balloon. So that was the first attempt. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one I do believe is orange with blue. So we're gonna cover this whole thing with orange, and then add blue going around it. So what we might do is we might actually work with the blue first and pull the blue. I'm just gonna pull this piece off so we don't have to worry about it. grab our cobalt blue here. We're going to pull a stringer of about 3 to 4 millimeters so we can wrap this 4 lines. I do believe 4, maybe with a dot on top. I'm not 100% certain on that. We're just going to make a little bit of a stringer here. We're just going to use that glass. Go vertical to use your natural gravity. And that way you can pull it nice and straight. And there you go. Alright, so now you pulled yourself a stringer by using that. So that's what we did there. Okay, so now we got that blue there. We're going to add this orange on top of this whole body here. I'm just going to heat this orange here real quick before I start feeding it. We're going to heat this up. We're going to get this preheated because if you don't heat up the lower section down here where it's cool, when you put this hot glass on there, it will crack your glass. So you definitely want to make sure you preheat this before you just start adding some glass to it. Alright, so we're just going to start coloring this in here, adding the orange. And most of the times, you know, I do it almost in that same pattern, just going from one side to the other and then in between. But some patterns will require different movements or techniques. Right now I'm just coloring it in, so I'm simply just going to go around the whole thing, making these lines, and then in between those I'll just put more lines, and then in between those I'll put more lines, and then eventually the whole thing will be covered. Alright, so we're almost done with this up with the orange here. A couple more lines to go. And I'm just making sure that it also adheres to both of the colors on that I'm attaching it to here. Alright, so now that's an all solid orange on top of the surface of this clear mill rod. So now I'm going to round it up. I'm going to kind of just help out some of these colors a little bit with just helping them lay down flat. There's no clear on top, so we've covered it entirely. No clear anywhere throughout the whole thing. So now, if I remember correctly, I'm going to try to scroll down while I'm melting this. But if I do remember correctly, got yeah, maybe on top of mine, there's 1, 2, 3, and it looks blue. I'm hoping it's blue. It's old camera footage, so you know that color. It's not the greatest of color, you know. No Technicolor here. All right, so we're just rounding this up. Melting in all the color here. A little spot right here. I'm going to just help out a little bit. All right, so that looks really nice and smooth here. Just going to round it up, kind of thicken up this top portion a little bit with the heat. Try to get it to be about the same as the bottom here. And then I'm going to start adding those lines. And now the trick is I don't want to add the line too close to the bottom. And I want to make sure I leave enough color on the bottom so when I pull it, it doesn't stretch out that line on that very bottom. All right. Now we're going to add the lines of blue going around it. And I do believe there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, the one on top. We're going to try not to put this too close to the bottom. All right, there's one line. Two. 3, and then the one on top. All right, so now got the 4 lines all wrapped up there. Looks like a little honey stick and a honey dipper. We're just going to melt those down. I'm going to use my tool here to just make sure everything's nice and straight. Alright, I'm getting all quiet, Daryl. I'm making these lines straight. Just concentrating. It's interesting when I start doing this stuff, like I have to stop breathing almost. Alright, I think that's straight enough for me. Now I'm going to melt it all down, and then we're going to shape it into the balloon shape. Now, being that this is the orange crayon color, I'm trying to keep it softer with a more reduction flame, more propane than oxygen. That way I'm not boiling the color and getting it too hot to where it actually does start to get air bubbles. It boils, and you don't want to boil the glass, so going with the softer flame here. Trying to keep those lines nice and straight. And just being real patient, just letting the flame do all the work here. If I use the tool at this point, it can move some of the lines around and really mess with that line work that I put there. Alright, so it's been an hour. We've gotten 2 done. So definitely not going to make 8 out of 13 today. We might get through 3 or 4 of them. Alright, so we're just going to melt this down here. We're on the bottom blue line of this balloon. And now I'm just trying to round it all out to where it's all the same kind of thickness here. Just letting the flame do all the work, melting it all down. A lot of patience. It takes a lot of dexterity, a lot of stamina to be able to hold up the glass and spin it. Continuous rotation, and also being able to keep that rotation nice and steady, but also very consistent. Rocking it back and forth, spinning it from the front to the back and forth. That way, your glass is evened out, so you're not pulling it all to one side or starts twisting on you to one side. You can kind of rock it back and forth like that. All right, so now that that's all around it, it's ready for the clear lines to go on top of it, so that way we can make the ripples for the hot air balloon. So that way we can put the clear lines on it and give it that kind of look like that. Yeah, Boogie. He's all telling that they made a mess out there. He's all, you need the cloth, you gotta clean it with the Norway. He's so funny about the Norway. Alright, so now we're gonna add these lines on here. And this is a little bit pulled thin on the very end here compared to the rest, so I'm gonna just yank this portion off so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so now I'm going to add the ripples or the different columns. And we don't want the hot air balloon to be hot or molten, because we don't want to move those lines at all. We want them to stay still. So the trick is getting the clear glass rod molten a lot more than the balloon itself as you're laying it on there. So that way it can really get a nice connection and actually fuses to the surface there as it's getting laid on there. Alright, now we're going to go in between all the lines that we just laid. Alright, so now all those lines are on there. And you got the blue lines underneath. That orange is going to pop, so there we go. There's balloon number 2 out of 13. Number 2, really? We're an hour in? That's crazy. That first balloon took some time, huh? guess some of these do take about an hour each. Right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring all of the shaping down to make sure that we can get all the lines into the balloon portion here. So that way when I start pulling the bottom, we don't pull too much of that and lose that last bottom line. I think that line's there. 1, 2, 3, and then yeah, that's one. Okay, perfect. I love it when they come out perfect on the first attempt. And I guess I can't be saying that because we're not even done yet. But I don't know how we can mess this up except for dropping it at this point. Alright, I'm going to add the loop here. We'll try to do this a little bit quicker than the last one. Just finishing up the loop here. Just for the loop. And just making sure it's nice and strong of an attachment. This has always got to be the strongest part of the whole entire piece because it's a pendant, and if it breaks, if the loop breaks, then you ain't got yourself anymore. So having a nice strong loop is really important. And sometimes we buy those pieces from like the flea market or the mall, and if you really look at the loop on the backside, you'll see that those things are made in China, and they're made very fast, mass-produced, and the loops aren't even attached and fused together sometimes. So always check that out before you put your money into that kind of stuff. All right, so now we're gonna pull this color from the bottom. We're gonna pull this off the rod. It's almost 4 o'clock. Got an hour. Got about an hour to get to my daughter. I wish there was a way that I could take her bike with me and then she could just ride, but I don't think that's possible. And then that'd be a hard ride. Our first ride back home. Uphill, all uphill. Come on, let's go. No gears, all one gear. Nah, let's just catch a bus. So our car broke down recently, which is sad. We're without a vehicle right now, but it's okay. We had a couple repairs, and it didn't get it running, but then we found out it probably is the fuel pump. So at least now we know that it probably is the fuel pump. Hopefully it's nothing else on top of that. There's a couple other things that we do need to get done with the vehicle, but for now we'll work on that. We'll get the fuel pump done and get the car running again. So I'm going to heat up this lower portion of the balloon here, so that way we can really pull a lot of that color down, but hopefully not that stripe. We really don't want to pull the blue stripe there. I'm really hoping to just heat up that lower section of the color there. Yeah, just like that, where we don't disturb anything else but that orange on that blue there. Or sorry, the orange on the clear. And leaving that line up above. You're going to try to pull the whole thing down just a little bit, so we can get more of that balloon shaping towards the bottom of the whole thing without stretching that color too much. There we go. Nice. Try not to stretch that stripe, that's all. Trying to get right to it, but without stretching it. Okay, we're almost done shaping this balloon here. It does have a blue skirt on the bottom as well. And make sure to put that on there. Just adding a little bit of that cobalt blue just right on the bottom there. Like that. Just kind of mash it on. Alright, so then we add the clear to give it that spacing in between the balloon and the gondola. So you can see all these little bit of details. Every little bit takes some time. That's why these ones are going to be the more expensive ones, you know, $30 to $40 per balloon. And then all the rest, all the generic ones will be about $20. I may do some ones that are like $10 to $15. Maybe some 15 ones that I might do 2 for $20 or something like that. And then we add that butterscotch for the gondola effect for the basket. We just round that up so it's just a little bit wider than the rest of that. And that way I can grab a hold of something. And there you go. Now you can see there's the orange and blue. One of the original from 1972, guys. And it looks reddish blue right now, but it should actually come out more orange blue. And I hope that it's orange. From the photos, I think it's orange. It could be red, which maybe I have to do a red and blue one. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a red and blue just in case. Because I want to make sure that we do have all the original balloons here. And I don't really have any plans yet for what we're going to do with these besides selling them, of course. But I mean, there's a possibility we might be able to get them into the hot air balloon museum. Alright, there's number 2. I don't know if I should get started on a number 3. Blue and white. That's a lot of stripes. Right, we might try one more. And then I got to get going so I can go get my daughter by 5 o'clock. We'll try one more here. Let's see how quick we can get this done. Hour and 20 minutes, which means this is taking what? 40 minutes each? I don't know if we'll have time. But I was thinking this one might be a little bit easier. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if we have enough light to do these. Oh wow. We're out of light. Let's see what we can do. And then try to pull off one of them. Here's the white. Alright, about the same thickness of the stringer there. We got the red. And then the half top is blue. Alright, there's the red. between all the red. We're gonna have enough. Oh my gosh, we just made it around. Okay. The red, there's the white. I'm gonna try to mash this red into the white a little bit better too. The blue here, I'm gonna do a straight line of blue going all the way around. We don't move any of those lines. Alright. We just got a blue right on top of that blue. So you can see there's the, we got the stripes on the bottom. Looks like an ice cream cone almost. And all that glowing on top is all the cobalt blue there. You got bulls. Bulls. Now I'm just rounding up the top where the blue is, all that cobalt blue portion. And I don't know if there's 13 balloons or 13 dots on the top or not, or however many there are. I'm really not certain how many, but I'm going to try to mimic, placing little dots on the top here to mimic those balloons, or sorry, the stars, or the stars in the stripe. I'm just going to put one directly above each white line. Line it up like that original balloon. And then dots in between those, right above it. To line up just like that. Hopefully those aren't too big. Definitely can't add stars, they're just going to be dots. Yeah, I know, too bad, huh? Too bad we can't do them in stars. They would just round out anyways. Stars are hard to do in glass. Oh, it's almost 4:20, guys. Let's try to finish this in the next 10 minutes by 4:20 if we can. So we got to add the clear on top of all this, guys. I'm not sure which one we're going to line it up with, the blue or the red or the white. Alright. We go with the clear glass now. Add our line work on top of all that. Maybe I'll go on the white. We try to line this up to go on the white. Try not to move those stars at all. As soon as we establish the one line, then we know where that opposite side is. So now we're going to just heat this up quite a bit. This is going to look really, really awesome, guys. That's going to look awesome. Alright, we got that shape down. We're going to add the loop on top. I'm not even going to care where that mistake is on the line work, because if it has 13 lines, that's going to be full. And if it doesn't, well, we'll see if anyone can find that mistake or not. Because only I really know where it is. And we don't know who's even going to get these yet or not. Or if they're going to go into a museum. Or what's going to happen with these balloons, being that they're the original 13 All hand blown, made out of glass. The documentation right here, live. You can see that these are being made on September 16th, 2022. Trying to just perfect the loop here real quick. Trying to finish this by 4:20. Got 3 minutes to go. Which I don't see that happening realistically. And I'm trying to perfect this loop so well. Alright, that's a nice strong loop. Okay, let's get this off. The bottom is red. The bottom meaning the skirt. Alright, so now we're just going to cut this off the loop here. It is 4:19. You got a minute? Alright, well, either way, we're ready to go. So we're going to get this to a point where it gets molten. We're going to pull this off. We're going to pull it off the rod here. Now we're going to pull all this down. Now 4:20. So close to getting this done, guys. Alright, got all the lines pulled through the bottom now. We're going to add the red skirting. Add the clear. Now look at there's a space in between the gondola. And then the gondola. Trying to make sure it's all nice and adhered to that balloon real quick. I'm going to add the gondola now. Now the only thing missing from this balloon is that yellow fringe that goes wrapped around it, which I don't know. Let's see if I can pull that off. Alright, we got that yellow fringe on there. Bam. There you go, guys. There's the seat cutter balloon right there. Woo! That is so awesome. Red, white, and blue. There you go, Sid. Thank you for everything. Happy 50th. Alright, you guys, I'm going to let y'all go and get this one in the kiln. But you guys, thank you so much. And you guys have a beautiful day. Alright, let's get this thing in the kiln. Later.